We are live. Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me. Let me know if you are watching this live. If you can hear me and you can see me, okay. Richard is in the chat. Thank you very much, Richard. Richard is also at Baycon. In fact, he's still there. I've come home because Baycon is a local convention to me. It is about 20 minutes down the road, just outside of Exeter. And I've been going to Baycon for about 15 years, I think. Yeah, I remember when I first moved down to the southwest of England, Bacon's been running for like 40 years. I am aware of Baycon. It is one of the older gaming conventions in the UK. We've got Baycon, Manacon, Midcon, and they've all been running for about 40 years. And I was very excited that when I moved down to the southwest of England, that I would be able to start going to Baycon regularly because it's close to me. And the first year I moved down here, we actually went on holiday at the time that Baycon was. So actually, my first year down here, I missed it. I wasn't able to go. But it's a convention which is held, as I mentioned, just outside of Exeter. It's about 200 people-ish, something like that. It's very low-key. It's very informal. There's no exhibitors there. There's no demos there. There's one trader, a local trader from Cornwall. They are there selling some stuff. But it is generally just lots of people playing games. And it's a little unusual, Baycon, in that a lot of the people who go to Baycon have been going to Baycon for 25 to 30 years. And I don't see a lot of those people at any other conventions in the UK. They go to Baycon, it's kind of like a regular holiday where they get to play games with each other. And yeah, there are people who I see at Baycon who I've known for, 15, 20 years, 15 years, who I don't see at other conventions. Richard has lost his 20-year badge, but he qualifies for a 30-year badge in a few years' time. So, yeah, Richard has been going for longer than I have. And in fact, there's a number of people who I am now friends with and who have become patron supporters of mine, who I probably met at Baycon and actually got to know through many years of going to Baycon. And, yeah, these people have become friends and things like that. Yeah, as Richard said, he's been there since Tuesday. So Baycon, I think, officially runs from Wednesday to Sunday. I think it used to be a Thursday to Sunday convention, but gradual creep. A lot of people attending Baycon come from, quite some distance away. So what was happening is people were arriving earlier, and then if enough people arrived earlier, they started playing games. So it kind of crept into the Wednesday, and now actually a lot of people turn up on the Tuesday. So even on Tuesday, people were turning up at Baycon and starting to play games. But yeah, I was working Tuesday, I was working Wednesday. So today was my first day. So today wasn't officially day one of the convention. It was day one for me. Yeah, so we've got Ulrich in the chat as well. Thank you very much for joining in. If you are here watching these videos, please let me know in the chat, because to be honest, I will do these videos, but if there's not an audience watching, if it's only Richard and Ulrich watching, it's probably not worth me, because I've had to leave the convention early in order to come back to do this video. So yeah, let me know. Basically, if there's not enough people watching and there's not enough interest in these videos, I might not do any more, because it's probably not worth it. But anyway, let's talk about today for me. I got there at 9 o'clock this morning, and there are 4 games that I played today. And rather than cover those games in the order in which I played them, I'm going to cover them in reverse order of which ones I enjoyed the most. Now, bearing in mind, some of the games that I'm going to talk about today, I was professionally involved in. I did some work either on the rulebook, or I did an official video for the game, or whatever. Put that all to one side. This is my own personal thoughts on the games that I played today. And the first game I'm going to talk about today, it's just going to have me a cup of tea. Hi, Carl. Thank you very much. And Michaela's here as well. Excellent. So, the worst game I played today is Black Forest. And you might be thinking, wait a minute, Paul, don't you really like Black Forest? And there we go, Black Forest. Yeah, I do really like Black Forest. I think Black Forest is a very good game. But it wasn't my favourite game today. I played 4 games today, and this was my least favourite. Why was it my least favourite? Couple of reasons. First of all, this was the 3rd game that I played today, and I was already at that point. I was a little bit frazzled. I didn't get much sleep last night because Rick forced me to play the Star Wars LCG until midnight last night. Can't help it, But So I was a little bit tired, and I'd played two really brain-burny games before this one. Now, I know the rules of Black Forest. It's not a complicated game, but it does have a huge plethora of choices in the game because of the sheer amount of buildings that come out. So I went into the game going, look, I'm playing it because I enjoy the game, but I'm not going to really analyse every decision I make. I'm not going to look at all of the buildings that are on offer, and I'm not going to come up with a master plan. I came up with some ideas of what I was going to do, and it all started off well. And we were 4 players, which is the maximum player count for the game. And we started off playing at quite a brisk pace. Unfortunately, about halfway through the game, 2 things happened. The first thing was, and these 2 things might be connected, but possibly not. The first thing that happened was the game just started to fall apart for me. I don't quite know why, but the first half of the game, I was taking actions with purpose. I was going there because that was going to get me the thing, that I was going to be able to do the thing. And I was doing that, and I felt it didn't matter whether I won or not. At least I was doing something and I was progressing forward. From about halfway through the game, I just no longer had any kind of plan whatsoever, or the plan that I had wasn't working, and I found myself taking really inefficient actions that then just didn't seem to be progressing me forward. I always seemed to be really short on resources and was never really able to do anything, whilst at the same time, I clearly wasn't taking actions that were getting me resources. The nail in the coffin for me is when I looked across at the other side of the board and I saw a building, and I thought, I'm going to build that building, and that building is going to allow me at any time to get rid of forest from my board. And I'd gone with a strategy where I expanded my domain really quickly. So I ended up with 3 little sideboards, which I thought was going to be really good. So I had loads of land, I had loads of forests, I had loads of everything. And I picked up this building tile, which will allow me to, at any time in the game, remove a forest from my board. And I thought, get me wood or get me cows. And it didn't. What it did is it got me an amount of wood based on how many cows I had. Guess how many cows I had at that point? Yep, I didn't have any cows. So essentially, the game started falling apart for me, and I made a couple of really bad decisions, and bought 2 buildings that cost me quite a few resources, were worth 1 point at the end of the game, and didn't really do anything for me. The second reason is, unfortunately, the game really slowed down. And that was a combination of, I was getting hungry, I was getting a little bit tired, but I was sort of planning my move. And again, no disrespect to the other players of the game, because they're friends of mine, but there was a large amount of time between turns, maybe 6-7 minutes or something like that, which for me was downtime. I'd already worked out roughly what I was going to do, and it was just a case of waiting. So, 4 players. Again, the first half of the game went really quickly. Second half of the game just went really slowly. So, Black Forest is still a good game. I still enjoy the game a lot. I've still not played it solo. If you've played it solo, let me know. Because I'm a big fan of Uwe Rosenberg solo modes, because they are very low maintenance, and you literally just play the game as if there's nobody else there, and I really like them. But I've not played this solo yet. So, let me know what you think about Black Forest. Michael is saying to put this convention on the option to visit next year. So as I say, it's just outside of Exeter. It's quite hard to get to. Black Forest is ace. I know Black Forest is ace. I'm not saying Black Forest is not good. I'm just saying it's the least favourite of the games that I played today. Now, the second least favourite game that I played today, and again, this is another game which is an exceptionally good game. Really, really good game. And I played it with Chris and Aidan, both friends of mine, and it was a really enjoyable experience. So this isn't a bad game. This is a very good game, and I enjoyed it a lot. Oh, I came last in Black Forest. I came last in this game as well. Just FYI. Great Western Trail El Paso. The latest in the Great Western Trail series. A smaller box, a cheaper game, a lighter version of Great Western Trail. This has divided audiences. There are a number of people who are massive fans of the Great Western Trail series, right? Who don't like this game. I like this game. I like this game a lot. For me, it does capture the same general core feeling of Great Western Trail. Much lighter rules, much shorter playtime. Yeah, it's not as deep. It isn't as good a game as Great Western Trail and Great Western Trail New Zealand. I wasn't a big fan of Argentina, but this has opened up the Great Western Trail series of games to a wider audience because I can play this with a lot more people. Also, this was the last game that I played tonight, and we sat down at 8 o'clock and I said, look, I've got a maximum of 2 hours. I wouldn't have been able to play Great Western Trail in that time, but I was able to play this. So I played this. It was probably about 90 minutes, 3 players with a teach, and I came last. In fact, it was a tie between Aidan, who hadn't played before, so I obviously taught him well. He got 81 points. Chris got 81 points. I got 63 points or something like that. But yeah, Great Western Trail at El Paso. I really like this game. I've played it probably 3 or 4 times on Board Game Arena. I've played it solo myself. I did a solo playthrough of this a couple of weeks ago. If you want to see me playing this solo. And I played it again today. And yeah, I really like Great Western Trail at El Paso. It does need a fix for building 2A, which has now been officially errated. But yeah, Great Western Trail El Paso. Melissa says, trying to find El Paso at your friendly local gaming store today, but no luck. Is that because it's sold out or they don't have it? So, Melissa is also saying you played Black Forest solo, but it was ages ago. But was it good? Mickey's here. Hi, Mick. Gridcon regular. Do you need to go to Baycon? Heard great things. Do you need to go to Baycon? You don't need to go to Baycon. Baycon is a very, like I mentioned, a very informal, it's basically rooms of people playing games. It's a very cheap convention because they get the hotel. They've got a great deal with the hotel. They've been going to the hotel for years. And it is just rooms of people playing games. And it's about 200 people-ish, something like that. So I go because it's 20 minutes away. But if you're looking for a convention with, demoers or exhibitors or anything like that, it isn't that. It is just a nice, friendly convention. But there are people who I see at Baycon, as I mentioned earlier on, who I don't see at any other times for the year. It's a really friendly convention. And a lot of people know each other, and a lot of people have known each other for 20 plus years. So there is one downside with that. And I'm saying this not from personal experience, because I've been in the hobby for, ages, and I've known, I'm friends with the organisers of Baycon, and I've known them for, 10, 15 years. But one piece of feedback that I've heard from other people who have been to Baycon for the first time is they felt a little, what's the right word to use without upsetting anybody? Not uncomfortable, but they felt because they went into this convention and it seemed that everybody knew each other and everybody was friends with each other, that can make it feel a little bit cliquey. It's not cliquey. I don't feel that, and it is very welcoming to new players and to new people, but there isn't a registration desk. So if you turn up to Baycon for the first time and you don't know anybody and you don't know where to go, you might be a bit lost. Whereas other conventions will have, as you go in, a registration desk with somebody telling you what's what and everything else. You just need to go in and find the person with the balloon. That's it. But if you don't know that, it can be a little bit daunting for new players, for new people who haven't been before. But yeah, it's perfectly friendly, perfectly good convention, really good, really enjoy it and go every year. Right, so the second best game that I played today is Menefa. Menefa is by German P. Milan. It's published by Ludonova. A lot of people might not have heard of this game, but you may have heard of Bitoku. Bitoku is from the same designer. The year after Bitoku, he came out with a game called Sabika, which I think was also from Ludonova. I didn't get on that well with Sabika, and there were some unusual graphic design choices which hindered the learning experience. But Menefa, or however you want to pronounce it, Memphis, it's the Egyptian for Memphis, this is fantastic. I've played this, I think, 4 times now, maybe 5, and I really enjoy this game. Now, it has some similarities to Bitoku in the way that in each era of game, each player will have 9 turns, and on each of those turns they will perform one of 3 actions, and you will perform the 3 actions 3 times. It's just a case of when you do it. So in Bitoku, one of the actions is you play a card onto one of your 3 spaces, which unlocks the dice, and playing the card gives you a bonus. Once the dice has been unlocked, you may then move that dice onto the game board, which does something. And then the third thing you can do is you can move that dice from one side of the river to the other. So over the course of an era, you will play 3 cards onto your player board, you will move 3 dice from your player board onto the main board, and you will cross the river with those 3 dice, generally speaking. But the order in which you do those is your choice. Many has the same core idea. You will be, I mean, you're not playing cards in this one, you are taking assistants, I think they're called assistants, taking assistants from your player board and placing them on the main board, which gets some kind of ability. Then you can move them from one side of the board to another side, triggering a different ability from the house that they're in. And then you can refill the tile that you used when you placed it on the board. So those are the 3 different actions. That's really the only similarity, apart from there's a number of mini games. If you don't like your Euros that contain 6 different mini games going on at once with some kind of loose connection between them, you're not going to like this. I like this. Once you understand the rules and once you get your head around all of the iconography, and there is a sheet to help you with that, the gameplay is smooth, it flows, it's really quick, it's a solid Euro game, absolute solid Euro game. The theme is nice, and the designer and the publisher have put a lot of effort into making sure that the things that you do in the game are the things that happened in ancient Egypt. You are trading along the Nile, you are mummifying people, whether they're alive or dead, putting them in the necropolis, you're worshipping, you're crafting items, and you're offering them in the temple to the gods. All of that happens within this game. Does the theme come through in the mechanisms of the game? No. Honestly, no. Ultimately, what you're doing is you are doing Euro-style stuff, you are placing things on spaces, and you are getting various bonuses that will move you up other tracks. But I think the game is fantastic. I really enjoy this game. I don't know where this sits in my top whatever games of all time. I'm not saying it's like a top 10 game. It's probably not even a top 20 game, but it's a really good game. Really enjoy this every time I play it. And we played it 4-player today. I think that might be the first time I've played it 4-player, and it worked absolutely fine. So, yeah, thank you to the people who played this. All of them were playing fairly speedily, and yeah, the game just really, really flowed really well. So, anybody want to guess what my number 1 favourite game that I played today was? Anybody got any ideas? Mick says Menifer will be played at GridCon, hopefully. Yes, this is in the GridCon library. I'm taking it out of the GridCon library. GridCon library is basically my collection. And I think it was played at last year's GridCon as well. Oh, Aiden's in the chat. Yeah, Aiden did really well in his first ever game of... In fact, Aiden had never played any games in the Great Western Trail series. So we taught him how to play Great Western Trail El Paso, and that was his introduction to the Great Western Trail series. Stephen says he's heard of Menifer too late, can't find it anywhere. Yeah, I've heard it's quite hard to find. People are suggesting Galactic Cruise. Mickey's saying Flip 7. Paul Snuggs is saying Voidfall. No, Voidfall is Saturday morning. I will be playing Voidfall on Saturday morning. We have a 4-player game of Voidfall booked on Saturday morning, but all of the players are experienced players. Richard Dewsbury is cheating because he saw me playing it. The best game that I played today was the Anarchy. Now, full disclosure here, my how to play video for this game went live today. This has never happened before. So here's the story. I have a very good relationship with Shem Phillips and Garfield Games, and I'll be honest with you, Shem has actually said to me that if I have the time and the inclination to do a video for every single one of his games, he'll pay me. Shem is a fan of mine, he likes my videos, he likes the attention to detail that I give. I like Shem as a person, I like Garfield Games as a publisher. This is almost a match made in heaven. I just don't have the time to cover all of their games. But he asked me if I wanted to do a how to play video for the Anarchy. Now, the Anarchy is not designed by Shem, it's designed by Bobby Hill. Bobby Hill also designed Hadrian's Wall, which is on Board Game Arena and is generally regarded as a popular game, and a lot of people like it. I don't own a copy of Hadrian's Wall. I've always been keen on it. And Shem said, look, Paul, if you ever want a copy of Hadrian's Wall, we'll happily send you a copy of Hadrian's Wall. But I have played Hadrian's Wall 20 times on Board Game Arena solo, and I've also played it probably about 4 times on Board Game Arena multiplayer. And I like Hadrian's Wall as a game. The Anarchy, I got told, was a more complicated version of Hadrian's Wall. So I said yes, and I said yes, I would do the video on it, and I started creating my how to play video by reading through the rulebook for the game. And as I was reading through the rulebook for this game, I was like, okay, I can see the similarities with Hadrian's Wall, but I think this is going to be better. And there's a couple of reasons why I thought it was going to be a better game. But interestingly enough, this is only the second how to play video that I have ever created on my channel. In all of the 11 years that I've been creating how to play videos, this is the second one where I'd never actually played the game. And you might be thinking, wow, how do you create a how to play video for a game which you've never actually played? It's a bit hard, but if the rulebook's good, then I'm okay with it. And I've been doing this a long time now, so I'm able to write a script for a game that I've never played, just if the rulebook's good. It's always better for me to play the game first, because if I play the game and I have any queries or anything like that, then I will be able to, add those extra explanations into the video. But I felt very confident with doing a how to play video for this game. So the how to play video for the Anarchy was finished last night. Literally last night, I finished the how to play video for this, and it was set to go public today. And I made it public straight after we finished this game. So yeah, I don't think this is ever going to happen before to me, but literally what we did is we sat down this morning, we played the Anarchy, and after it finished, I went onto YouTube and I made the video public. So if you are interested in learning how to play the Anarchy, the video is on my channel now. It went live about 10 hours ago. And I was really excited about playing this game because I've been working on the video for the last 3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks, because I had a holiday in between. And one thing that I love about my job is the fact that I work in the board game industry, and I get to sometimes, like with this one, work on games which I think are great. And this is having never played it. I was reading the rules, and I was writing the script, and I was filming the scenes going, I think this is going to be great. I'm really excited about this game. And today was the first day that I actually sat down and played it. So I had very, very high hopes, and I kind of knew that I was going to enjoy it because of, knowing the rules and knowing how it was going to play out. But until you actually sit down and play it, you don't really know. Now, to be fair, the other 2 people that I played against today, I played with Ian, and Ian had never played Hadrian's Wall, so he'd never played the Anarchy and didn't know anything about it, really, whatsoever. Yeah, I don't think he had. Yeah, no. So we had to do a full teach at the start of the game. The other player, Paul, Paul had played Hadrian's Wall. In fact, I think he owns Hadrian's Wall, but he hadn't played the Anarchy. Now, one of the things with this game, and if any of you have gone over to my channel, and had a look, and you might think, 42 minutes? Wow. Right. Yes, my how to play video for this game is 42 minutes long, and that is because I literally go into every single building and every single action, and I explain every single one. I didn't need to do that. I wanted to do that because I wanted the video to be absolutely thorough and cover everything. I could have just explained, look, this is roughly how it works. Right, off you go. And the video would have probably been 20 minutes long, maybe. But I decided that I wanted to go into a lot of detail because I kind of got carried away with myself, and I was getting very excited about working on it. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. The experience of playing this game was exactly what I hoped it would be. And there was one concern that I had. So in this game, if you don't know this game, you play over 5 rounds, and in each of the 5 rounds, you are building up your castle area. You're having tournaments, you're building walls and gates, and you're building siege engines, and you're doing all of that stuff. But also, at the end of each round, your castle is going to get attacked. And every round, the attacks on your castle get harder. And the way that the attacks work, this is the main reason why I like this game better than Hadrian's Wall, is the way that the attacks on your castle work. And the fact that you're building your own little castle in sort of 3D with all of these weird shaped things. It looks amazing. It's really cool. That part of the game is fantastic. It's really well done. And as well as all of that, you're attacking other castles as well. Now, not castles of other players. There's very little interaction in this game. But you are trying to defend against attacks from Empress Matilda, who wasn't Empress at the time, just Matilda. And you're also trying to attack other players' castles as well. And you've got to try and do all of that whilst building up your own thing, whilst trying to achieve your objective cards and everything else. And we got about 2/3 of the way through the game, and I'd successfully defended against every single attack on me. And I'd managed to attack every single castle that I could and do it. Now, one of the things in this game is that if things go wrong, like if you don't manage to successfully defend against anything, or if you don't have enough food to feed your people, you will gain discontent. Discontent is a big mechanism in the game. We're 4 rounds in, I haven't gained a single discontent. And I'm thinking, are we playing this game correctly? I'm not really sure. And everybody else was doing almost as well. And then I remembered, we're playing the easy scenario. So there are multiple scenarios included in the game of varying difficulty levels. So just at the point in the game where, and to be fair, I was playing better. So it was just a case of I had more experience with the system. Having never played it, but I kind of had an idea of how it was going to work. So I was doing better. Around round 4, Paulinian, it was falling apart. They weren't able to defend their castle. They were really struggling. They weren't getting enough workers in. They weren't generating enough food, and things started to not work out as well. That was at the point where I was like, oh yeah, this is the easy version of the game. And they went, what? So yeah, if I played it again, I would definitely be playing on a slightly harder difficulty level because yeah, I was able to mostly defend myself. But yeah, I loved it. Now, it was a long game. We were about 45 minutes with the rules explanation, and that is because I went through everything. And you don't need to do that. If you ever teach this game to somebody, you don't need to explain absolutely everything. You can just explain the core concepts and allow people to then just ask questions when they want to do something. But I felt, we've got the time, let's do a full teach. And we had some breaks for food and things like that. So we were about 3 hours for a 3-player game. It would not be that again. I don't know what the box time is. The box says 90 minutes. You could probably play it in 90 minutes. But when you've never played Hadrian's Wall before, and the whole concept of I'm spending this worker to fill in this box, now that I've filled in that box, I can then spend a wood to fill in this box. Oh, this box has given me another worker. Oh, I wasn't planning for that worker. So it's a game where you will start off at the start of each round with a certain number of workers and resources. But as you start filling in boxes on your sheets, then you will gain more workers. And you're like, well, I didn't know I was going to have that. If you don't know the game, I'm actually just going to get out the boards because this is a little scary. If you don't know the game, and everybody who came over was like, this looks really complicated. And I don't think it's overly complicated. There is just a lot of rules. But each player has 2 sheets. I think these might be my sheets. So you have the left-hand sheet, which is this one here. It might not even focus because the autofocus is probably... Yeah, the autofocus is turned off. So you've got your left-hand sheet, and then you've got your right-hand sheet. And this is your player board. And you will be basically filling in these boxes over the course of the game. It's not a roll and write game because there's no rolling of dice. It's not even a flip and write. You basically spend resources to fill in boxes on here over the course of the 5 rounds. Yeah, but anyway, that was my favourite game. So, Graham's in the chat. Hi, Graham. Graham, while you're here... he's done it. Right, so Graham has played today, in answer to the previous question, Caution Signs, 8 out of 10, Shackleton Base, 9 out of 10, Battlestar Galactica, 8 out of 10, Galactic Cruise, 10 out of 10, So Clover, 9 out of 10. So Graham has had another great day of gaming. Yeah, Galactic Cruise, 10 out of 10. It looks like you played some really good games today. In fact, the worst game you played today, Graham, was Caution Signs, which you gave an 8 out of 10. Okay. Ulrich says he's back the Anarchy, waiting for the copy. Definitely Hadrian's 2.0. Slightly more player interaction with the castles. No. And actually, when I first heard about this game, I actually thought, when it said you can attack other castles, I thought it meant other players' castles. You're not attacking other players' castles. You are attacking the castles of Matilda. And all of the players are actually allied with King Stephen, who ended up losing the war and getting kicked out. But anyway, so yeah, there is very little player interaction. Yeah, apart from the turn order and choosing the path cards, there's not that much about it. What else have we got? Mike's in the chat. Hi, Mike. Mickey's saying, and the other game was, what was the other one? The other game. And it's good that Graham's in the chat, because the other game, which I did a how to play video for without ever having played the game, was Brass Lancashire. And one of the only reasons that I felt confident with doing that video is because Graham helped me with the script. Graham said to me, Paul, you need to mention, if you're doing a video, you need to mention these few things, because although the rules are clear in the rule book, people need to know how to interpret that rule in realistic terms. So yeah, thank you very much, Graham, for your help on the Brass Lancashire script. However many years ago that was, I don't know. It seems a lifetime ago now, and it probably was about 6 or so. Right. What other things have we got in the chat? Speaking of detailed rules explanation, cannot wait to see you tackle teaching stress botics in less than 2 hours. So, Stephen, 2 things there. First of all, I am not teaching stress botics in 2 hours' time. I don't know where you got that from. In 2 hours' time, I will be hopefully in bed asleep and not teaching stress botics. So that's not happening. What is happening is on Sunday at 1 o'clock PM UK time, there will be a game of stress botics live on the channel, but I'm not handling the teach. Martin, a friend of mine who is coming over for the weekend, he's coming to Baycon, then he's coming to mine on the Sunday, and Martin is going to be teaching me how to play stress botics on Sunday. So if you are interested in watching a playthrough of possibly the most complex game that I have ever covered on the channel, that's happening on Sunday afternoon. The other players will have all played it before. I will be the only new player. And that will be at the end of a 4-day convention. My brain will be absolutely frazzled. And yeah, that's going to be an absolute train wreck on Sunday. I think it is. Melissa is saying, do you think you need both if you already own Hadrian's Wall? I will be honest with you here. I will never play Hadrian's Wall again. And you know what I mentioned earlier on, that Shem said to me, Paul, if you ever want a copy of Hadrian's Wall, he will more than happily send me a copy. I'm glad that he didn't send me a copy. I'm glad I didn't get round to asking for one. Because now that I have this, I can't see me ever playing Hadrian's Wall again. And that's not because Hadrian's Wall is a bad game. Hadrian's Wall is not a bad game. Hadrian's Wall is a good game. In my opinion, this is better. And it's the same reason why I am never going to play Imperium again. The card game Imperium, which I quite like, which has had Legends, the other one, Classics, Legends and Horizons. Yeah, that game, which Paul likes, never going to play it again. Why not? Because I have Star Trek Captain's Chair. There will never be a situation where I will choose that one over that one. And it's exactly the same with this. Even though I don't own Hadrian's Wall. If I did, I would be giving Hadrian's Wall away to one of my patron supporters as a gift. Because I think the Anarchy, for me, is a much better game. And therefore, I will always play this one. So, personally, I don't think you need both. But that's just my personal opinion. If you love the game and if you love the system, then you probably do want both so that you've got some variety. But for me, time is limited. I will always choose this one. Carl saying he did watch the Anarchy Rules video. First impressions is it's very similar to Hadrian's Wall. Yeah, I mean, the core mechanism is identical. You have workers, you have resources, you spend those workers and resources, and you fill in boxes on a sheet. And filling in the boxes on the sheet gives you other stuff, but there's a lot more going on in this. Richard Dewsbury says he backed Skara Bray instead. Skara Bray is a good game. Yeah, very, very good game. Richard doesn't like games where you cross things off on a sheet. Yeah, that's fine. What else have we got? Aidan says he's off to bed. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Michael's got a version booked at the friendly local gaming store. No prognosis about when it may arrive. Okay. Paul is saying you can buy dry wipe mats in the Kickstarter. Yes. So I'm probably going to get these laminated. Rick and Victoria, friends of mine, they've got a laminator. Give them a cup of tea, borrow their laminator. Probably get them laminated. I mean, it was actually fine. I was worried that they wasn't going to show up when you draw on them, but we borrowed some pens from the hotel. It's funny, I turned up this morning and I said, I'm really sorry, we can't play the game. And he said, why not? I said, I haven't brought any pens with me. So we went to the hotel reception, they gave us some pens. It was fine, that worked, okay. Tiggs in the chat, enjoyed Menefa? Yeah, so did I. King Stephen, yes, King Stephen de Beauvoir is who it was. He was the, it's a really interesting period in English history. It's the 12th century. It's set around the same time as Pillars of the Earth, which is why I've got Pillars of the Earth there. And yeah, what happened is the king died suddenly and didn't leave any heir. And Matilda, she was the rightful heir. But King Stephen, who had the support of the Archbishop, he basically proclaimed himself king. So he declared himself king, but there was this period of complete and utter anarchy, which is why it was called the Anarchy, in England for about 18 years, with everybody loyal to King Stephen fighting against everybody loyal to Matilda, and it turns out that Matilda actually won that battle. So it's interesting, and in the game you're all on the losing side. Is there a race element to the castle attack? Nope. No, there is no race element to the castle attack. So the castles that you can attack, everybody can attack the castle, and there are no rewards for whoever did it first, because you're all playing simultaneously, so there can't really be that. Captain's Chair doesn't exist in the UK for most people, but it will be soon. Captain's Chair, Asmodee have announced it. It should be available within the next couple of weeks. So, yeah, Captain's Chair does not have Cthulhu decks. It does not. No, you're absolutely right. Captain's Chair doesn't have Cthulhu decks. And Richard has 3D printed stuff for Captain's Chair, but no sign of the actual game. Okay, right. That's it. We're caught up with the chat. So, what's happening tomorrow? Well, tomorrow I'm going to be going to Baycon at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to be playing one game all day. And that game is Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era, which is one of the most amazing games that I have ever played in my entire life. It is utterly fantastic, and I have played a number of sessions of the campaign, but I've only ever played session 1. So a full game of Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era, the campaign is 3 sessions. Each session with 3 players will take you about 4 to 5 hours to play, and only crazy people would try and play all 3 sessions in one day. That's me. So we're going to start at 9 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, and by 10 o'clock, if you are at Baycon and you want to come over and like prod me, because I might be just absolutely glazed over. I'm super excited about it. I am super looking forward to it. It's just going to be a very long day. So that's my plans for tomorrow, is that I am only playing that game. Now, I say that, the game's divided into 3 sessions. The campaign is divided into 3 sessions. At the end of each session, you have a big fight. If you lose that fight, it is campaign over. So we could play for 4 or 5 hours, and then it might be all over. We then have to make a decision. Do we want to play again, either with new characters or try the same thing again? Or do we fudge it and pretend that we did actually win and don't tell anybody? Or do we stop and do we play something else? I will have a number of games with me, but that's the plan for tomorrow. Now, tomorrow night, this video will not just be me. So Martin, who I mentioned is going to be teaching me how to play Stressbotics on Sunday, Martin is driving to Baycon tomorrow. I will be driving to Baycon tomorrow, but Martin is then coming back with me tomorrow night. So tomorrow night's video will be the 2 of us. I will be blabbing on about Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era and telling you how amazing it was. Martin will be telling you about all of the games that he played. But tomorrow night, it will be both of us. I don't know what time it's going to be. It will probably be around the same time as this. We have a little bit more flexibility tomorrow night because Vicky doesn't have to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning to go to work. So in other words, we could get home at 11 tomorrow night and we could do this later and it will be okay. But it is what it is. Keep an eye on the channel. I will probably create the video maybe tomorrow morning and I might set it for say 11 o'clock. But it might be a little bit before 11 o'clock. It might be a little bit afterwards. If you want to know exactly when it is, you just set your notifications. Go onto the video when I've created it. Click the little notification bell. All of that usual stuff. You'll get that. That'll be tomorrow. That'll be tomorrow night. What else did I want to mention? One thing that I wanted to mention. This is a little bit of a surprise, but next week. Is it next week? Let me just have a look at my diary. Talk amongst yourselves. Let me just open up my diary. Because I don't even know what month we're in at the moment. Is it April? Yeah, it's April, isn't it? Wow. Blink and you miss it. So, on the 9th of May. Okay, so on Friday, the 9th of May, I am going to be doing a live tutorial and playthrough of the new version of Trismegistus from Board and Dice. And Board and Dice were sending me a copy of Trismegistus, and I was actually going to be playing it this morning. The plan was that me and Mark and anybody else we could rope in was going to be playing Trismegistus this morning. Because I need to play the game, I need to practice it, prepare and everything else. Unfortunately, Board and Dice sent it to me a little bit late, and it wasn't due to arrive until Monday, which means I'm not going to get to play it this weekend at all. However, FedEx did a bang-up job, and guess what arrived today while I was out playing games? The new version of Trismegistus. Now, this is not the final printed version of the game, I believe, because look, there's no back of the box. So this is an advanced copy. It is a prototype, but this is the new version of Trismegistus. This arrived this afternoon. I've got a red bag with I don't know what in it. I've got another bag with I don't know what in it. I've got the Trismegistus roll and write. No idea. But it's arrived. What that means is I'm going to try and get a game of this in on Saturday. Yes, I've got Voidfall in the morning, but I am going to try and get a game of this in on Saturday morning. But tomorrow morning, if I'm awake enough, and if I get permission from Board and Dice, I'm going to do an unboxing of this tomorrow morning. Now, the reason why I think I need to ask permission is this is a prototype. So, I mean, as long as I say in the video, this is a prototype, okay, then I think it'll be okay. Hopefully. But that's what I'm going to do. That's the plan. I'm going to go to bed now. And tomorrow morning, I'm going to get up bright and early. It's going to be a disaster. And I'm going to do an unboxing video for this before I head off to Baycon. So that's my plan tomorrow morning. Yeah, Graham remembers it well. So I'll be absolutely honest with you here. And if Board and Dice are watching this video, then you know me, I'm honest. The first version of Trismegistus that came out, I think maybe there was a good game in there somewhere. But the rulebook, the original rulebook for the first edition of the game, was the worst rulebook that I read that year. It was shockingly bad. Absolutely awful. And the graphic design, I can't. It was terrible. I think, and people have said there's a good game in there. But yeah, the rulebook was terrible. The graphic design was terrible. It made the game really difficult to learn, really difficult to teach. And it's just not, I don't want to do that. So that was the first edition of the game. I have seen what they've done with this one. I haven't read the rules in detail yet, but I have seen what they've done with it. This is a proper Board and Dice game now. They have done amazing jobs with stuff over the last few years. So I'm actually really excited about it because I think this is the game that it should have been if it had had, you know, a better rulebook and a better graphic designer. And it was with Graham. We were going to a convention in London, which was, I think, the Tabletop Gaming Convention. This is going back 6 or 7 years now. And we sat down and we played this in a hotel one night, and it was just like, hang on a minute, this is black on here, but the icon's yellow? Oh yeah, yellow is black. What? Why is yellow black? Oh, well, they changed the colour from yellow to black halfway through development, but they forgot to change it on the cards. Okay, so we now have to remember that blue's blue, red's red, but yellow is black. Oh, just, yeah, give me a break. Anyway, yeah, I remember that. I do remember that. And we were probably, yeah, it was the one at Alexandra Palace. That was it. So, yeah, so I might be doing that tomorrow morning. But if you're interested, there will be a live tutorial and playthrough on Friday, the 9th of May at 8 o'clock in the evening. Set your diaries now if you're interested in that. Okay, we're done. A lot of people turned up in the chat, so we'll do this tomorrow. Same time, same place-ish, but with a special guest. Martin will be here tomorrow. I assume he'll be sat there. I don't know. But for now, I'm going to head to bed. I will see some of you at Baycon tomorrow, and the rest of you I will see tomorrow night here, and we're done. Just one final thing before I disappear. A big thank you to all of my Patreon supporters for funding the channel. I don't make any money out of these videos. Obviously, they're not sponsored in any way. And all of the advertising revenue goes to charity. So, yeah, big thank you, all of my Patreon supporters, for keeping the channel going. And if you like the content that I create and you want to see more, patreon.com/gaming rules if you want to support me. Until next time, I'm going to say goodnight. Thank you. Bye-bye.